Welcome to the 365 Fitness Podcast. Today we have Devon back on to the pod. She is days away from her due date, so we're making the most of her whilst we can. Today's one, we're going to be sort of reminiscing over the last 9 months and talking about Devon's sort of journey with her training through her pregnancy, because it might be useful to some of you out there to sort of learn about what she has done and hasn't been able to do over the last 9 months. So I think it'd be good, Devon, if you can, let's go sort of pre-pregnancy. What did your training look like? What were you up to? And then we can sort of see how it's transformed over the last 9 months.
Yeah, so pre-pregnancy, I was doing at least 5 sessions a week. One of which I think was a run because we'd just come off the back of High Rocks. So yeah, at least 5 days a week, 4 of which were CrossFit based, whether that be kind of like Olympic weightlifting, strength, a lot of strength work kind of early part of the year where I was just trying to get stronger and conditioning to kind of keep me fit. And then, yeah, along with kind of a run a week, around 5 to 8K was where I was at.
8-9 years of training under her belt now?
No.
Yes, you have.
8-9 years. We're in 2025. I started training in like 2020.
So you're talking
Yeah.
5 or 6 years of training now.
I would say I've got about 3 years of consistent training under my belt. So,
Getting at as you've
yeah,
got someone who's not just started training yesterday, going
no,
from doing 5 days a week, 4 strength sessions, 8K running, and
yeah.
everything in
I appreciate that's not a normal amount of training. Yeah. So that's where I was at pre-pregnancy.
And just to jump in, I guess some of that was event based as well.
Yes, yeah. So December time had
Winter Soldiers.
So within about a month period, I had 2 comps and High Rocks. So,
I love how you're not calling High Rocks a comp.
well,
Sorry, High Rocks.
2 comps and a High Rock. So the lead up to that was very much kind of skill conditioning based work. And then off the back of that, kind of going into the new year, I was more focusing on my strength work. So I guess when I felt pregnant, there was a lot more emphasis on strength, but I wanted to keep my fitness up, hence why I did the running. So technically I only had 4 sessions a week, but I decided I wanted to keep running. That didn't last long. Yeah.
At this point, probably a lot of people obviously panic stations
Yeah.
to some degree, but some people at that point will just completely stop all of their exercise and not do anything.
Yeah.
How did you react?
So I didn't stop. I continued as I could. My first kind of 16 weeks of pregnancy, I had quite a lot of nausea. So I wasn't feeling like I could perform like I normally would, but I was still probably getting 3 to 4 sessions in a week. The running dropped pretty quickly, I have to say, not because of my kind of cardio fitness or anything like that. I just felt a lot of pressure on the pelvis and I just didn't really like it, basically. But yeah, as far as I was concerned, when I fell pregnant, my whole mindset was like, well, I'll just keep going. Like there was no thought at any point that I'd go, well, I'm just going to stop now. It was always like, well, I'll just keep going. I'll keep doing what I can as long as I can. And yeah, that was pretty much it. I don't think I had any other thought process than that, did I?
I think it's important to note, obviously, everybody's pregnancy journey is going to be slightly different.
Absolutely. Yeah. Like I can't comment on anyone else's because I've been incredibly lucky. Like I said, that first 16 weeks was a little bit rough. Apart from that, I have been really, really lucky and really not had many symptoms to my pregnancy at all. A little bit of tiredness here and there. Apart from that, I don't think I've moaned too much.
And a few bottles of Gaviscon later.
Yeah, the acid reflux does kind of flare up a little bit, but it's manageable. It wasn't something that I was like, well, I'm not going to do that because I'll get acid reflux. It was like cool, I'll just bring my Gaviscon with me. So yeah, I can't comment on anyone else's, but for me, I've had it really easy. I don't know if part of that is maybe because when I fell pregnant, I was probably strongest, fittest maybe I've ever been.
Absolutely been. That's the best youth.
So I was
Physically
eating really well, training really well. We were in a really good place. It was just like I don't know if I kind of set my own luck, and therefore like my pregnancies just kind of followed that trajectory. But yeah, that's kind of like the start, I guess. So I guess up until when I hit my second trimester, so I've always done like programming. I dropped my programming.
What does that mean?
So someone would write my workouts for me. Yeah. So I had a coach. Like everyone, like we push on. I had a coach and he would write my workouts, and they were getting a little bit harder they were getting a little bit boring in the nicest possible way, because obviously I knew what I could do. He didn't really know what I could do, which wasn't his fault at all. I knew that there were certain things that I didn't really want to do because I didn't want to put too much pressure on my core. There wasn't a lot that I couldn't do, but it was more of a kind of safety thing that we decided that I would not do certain movements that would put a lot of pressure on my core, and also like my nervous system. Things like landing on my head probably wasn't the best idea. So yeah, I dropped that. And then I have continued to train through my second and third trimester, whether that be jumping in at classes here, jumping in classes at CrossFit, doing my own little thing when I want to. But I've consistently trained. I don't think I've missed a week of doing at least one session. By all means, I have not been consistent like I was. Like, I'm not doing 4 sessions a week. It's like, I'm happy with 1 or 2.
You've probably done all of these things without any pressure.
Yeah.
So you've chosen to do those things. There's been nothing that, "Oh, I've got to go and work out today. I've got to train."
No, I think the days where I feel like I have to is less for my body and more for my brain. I think those days when I'm like, I just don't feel great today, and I almost can't always distinguish whether it's my body that doesn't feel great or my head that doesn't feel great. And sometimes I'll go do a workout and I'm like, oh, it's my head. Like, actually, my body's fine. So yeah, I think for me, training through the 9 months has been like so important to keep me from not going insane.
Your exercise, you've always,
Yeah.
so you'd have 1 or 2 friends that you'd always like coordinate diaries with or go and do a class. Why probably is that more important through pregnancy than not?
Yeah, I think, well, for me, obviously, some of my movement patterns have changed. So that's been quite hard. But it's also a little bit of accountability, being able to be like, well, they're going, so I might as well. I'll just do what I can. I've never gone into a workout and be like, well, I'm going to absolutely smash this. It's like, I'll just do what I can. I'll see how I feel and I'll build it from there. And having people around me has just made me feel more comfortable and more confident to be in the gym environment. Doing it by myself, I wouldn't do it. I think I would turn up and I would do a few things, get a bit distracted, and then not finish, probably. So yeah, I've always gravitated towards either doing a class or doing a workout with my friends, and I'll kind of make sure that that happens, and I might try and move some things to make that happen.
Let's talk a little bit. Obviously, that's your own training and things that you're passionate about. You've also been and done a few, what are they called? Prenatal, antenatal?
Yeah.
Let's go through that experience. That's been an interesting one, even for me.
Yeah, I've done a few like yoga Pilates style sessions, pregnancy based. And I mean, I've done a lot of yoga in the past. I've never really done Pilates, so that was totally new to me. I think the biggest thing that I kind of got frustrated with in each of the sessions that I went to was the kind of like, you go in, you kind of introduce yourself, tell everyone how far along you are. And then it was almost like this is what's wrong with me. And it's like everyone had something wrong with me. And one of the sessions that I got to, I was kind of one of the furthest along and everyone else was a little bit behind me. And they came to me and I thought, oh crap, like I've got nothing wrong with me. I'm going to have to like think up something because everyone else has got something wrong with them. And I feel stupid if I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. Like trained today and won a comp last week. Like, I don't know. It felt like to me that almost people put pregnancy as like a bit of an illness, like, and in my head, I've always looked at it like, cool, I'm growing a baby, but I'm still me. Like, I didn't want my identity taken away from me because I'm pregnant. Like I know there's a certain amount of like, it's exciting and everyone's cares and I love that. That's brilliant. But also I'm still Devon. I'm still training. I'm still able to do everything that I used to be able to do. Like, I can still pick up that 12-kilo kettlebell. Like I've not stopped doing anything, which I could have milked a bit more because you could have done a bit more around the house. But yeah, going back to kind of like that group setting, I just felt that it was like, I wanted to go to these groups and be like, cool, like how are we going to breathe better? And like what movements are good for pregnancy and those kind of things. And I just felt a little bit deflated more than like empowered when I came out. I think that was the biggest thing.
Just touched both at, and this is James, he's a gym owner, and then they went, and this is Devon, she's pregnant.
Yeah, I didn't like that.
It always hurt me a little bit. I was like, oh, that's a kick in the ribs, that is. And I think a lot of people do it without realising that this identity shift of, Devon, the gym owner, personal trainer, fitter, a million different names that she's got, then all of a sudden it's Devon, the pregnant lady, and then it will be, oh, here's mum. And I think a lot of the listeners are probably going to resonate with, they're no longer who they were before they were mum. Who is that person? What is that identity? And can they shift identities?
Yeah, that's quite interesting because obviously everyone knows I'm pregnant. Everyone has asked me quite a lot about how I am. And a few times, which like, don't get me wrong, like it's really kind. I know people really care about me, but it's only so many times to go, yeah, I'm great. Like, yeah, I'm fine. Like it comes back to that. I feel like there's this stigma around something should be wrong with you. There's this, I've been like so lucky that I've been able to say that, but it's interesting that you go, my identity has shifted to being pregnant, but actually then once you're a mum and people know about your kids, rather than going, how are you? Like, what are you doing? They go, how's the kids? How's their group? Like football, dance, whatever they do, rather than going, how's your training going? I don't know. There's that kind of like shift in identity, which I'm going to have to come to terms with because that's going to be totally different for me rather than me going, well, I've just done this comp and I do this. And them going, how's the baby? Don't know. It's a weird concept to come to terms with. Yeah. Yeah.
It's scary and exciting.
People do ask about Basil though.
They always ask about it. No one asks about me.
No.
I was going to sort of touch on sort of a more recent thing of when we went to the hospital last week before, and that interesting conversation where, again, they assume people are deconditioned or not as healthy. So, I don't know, should we touch on that subject and the doctors and the trainee doctors surrounding you and what have? Go on, fill us in.
A couple of weeks ago, I had to have an ECV, which is basically baby was breech. So they manually, from the outside, try and like move the baby round. So push into my stomach, try and flip the baby round. It has a 50% success rate. It didn't work. But the funny thing was, we try and make a joke out of everything, that we try and kind of talk to the doctors and stuff, and had a bit of an audience. There was the consultant there who
trainee doctors.
Yeah, and a trainee midwife. So there was 6 of us. I'm there like sweating. And the consultant asked what I did, and I told him. And one of the students laughed, and we were like, "What are you laughing at?" And basically, he was like, "At any point, like you want a strong core, this is not the time.
This is not it."
No. Yeah, he was basically like, your core's strong and therefore we can't maneuver you around basically as much as we would like, or as easily as you could if someone didn't have a strong core. So all the time that we're banging on about getting a strong core and they're like, yeah, not a great time for that. So yeah.
Interesting, isn't it?
Very.
So what's the game plan? What we're going to do?
So we got a comp in Feb. So we'll see how that goes.
going to go viral for breastfeeding in between.
Yeah, in between workouts. I would like to book in a few more comps so that I've got a bit of like something to work towards. I like to know that something's coming up. Uh, but I think I really want to get stronger again. Although I've been training the whole way through, I've obviously got heavier, so things have got harder, but I want to get back to that place where I feel strong again. I'm not that worried about the bounce back. Like that will come as I train, but I just know that I want to get back in a place where I feel good in myself. I feel strong, I feel confident, and like I know that I could step into kind of an event and feel fairly happy and comfortable doing it, I think is the main thing. I think just around that, like changing body. So the first into the second trimester was really hard I had no control over my body changing. And I feel like this kind of probably resonates with little people in the menopause. I know it's totally different. Little bit through the menopause,
Right.
not little people in the menopause. And how you have like no control over how your body is changing. Like I could eat as well as I wanted and my body's still going to change. Like I don't have any control over that. I'm growing a human in me. And that for me to start with was really hard to come to terms with, especially when I wasn't really showing and I just felt big. Like I felt like my ribs expanded quite a lot, lost my waist quite quickly. And that was really hard for me to kind of know how to dress and know like what I was feeling. And I know a few times I'd come home and I'd say to you, oh, I'm just fat. And you go, you're not fat, you're pregnant. But being able to differentiate that when all you feel is fat is quite hard. So I think the more pregnant I've got, the more I've come to terms with it. But actually the most important thing is that I've still been able to move my body exactly how I wanted to. So it's not about how I've looked and it's more about how I've been able to move and the fact that I've been able to continue as I wanted to, and I'm probably still as strong as when I started. I just look different. And like, that's okay. And I know that I'll be able to get back to a place that won't be the same as my pre-pregnancy body because it's going to change, but a place that I'm happy with, knowing that I've grown a human in me and I've done everything I can to like feel good about that.
Thanks for listening, everyone. I hope you found that one useful.
Or interesting.
As always, please share this to anyone else you think they might find it beneficial to learn from Devon's experiences. And we will speak to you soon.
I was going